Central New York, and hello, hockey fans all across the internet, and welcome to 315 Hockey Live, brought to you by 315hockey.com and powered by My Little Falls. I'm your host, Scott Kinville, and we have got a tremendous show lined up for you. I've been really looking forward to this one. Before I bring our guests in, though, I'm going to bring my co-hosts in. First of all, co-host slash producer slash madman with the keyboard over there, the Mr. Everything here at 315 Hockey Live, Dave the Save Warner.
Yes, I know. Tech, sport, anything you need.
Anything I need. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Did you notice I did a little thing for you back behind you there?
I see that. You got the mug, you know.
I did your Marty's mug back
But
there.
I noticed you didn't put any coffee in it.
I didn't.
So
you don't need that.
So you're going to have to take all your technical wizardry and figure out how to work the coffee pot next time.
It's a Keurig. I can do it.
Oh, boy. And our other co-host, it looks like he's back in his bunker there, coming to us live via satellite, Mr. Jordan Brockway. Jordan, what's happening?
Nothing much. Just getting through the week, really.
Yeah, that's what we're all doing, brother. But you know what? It's almost over. It's Thursday. We're getting there. So, all right. Our guests for tonight, again, like I said, I've been looking really forward to this. They are from the ECAC champion, number 19th ranked Colgate Raiders men's hockey team. We've got head coach Don Vaughan. We got junior forward Ross Mitton. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How about you, Ross?
I'm doing well too. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So have you guys started to come down from the high of winning that ECAC championship a little bit yet?
I'll let Ross answer that one. I know it's been a roller coaster for me, but no, I'm still riding a pretty good high.
I mean, yeah, we've still been riding it. I mean, we bring the trophy everywhere. Like we had it in McDonald's. We bring it to the dining hall. So like we have it all the time.
That's I wanted to ask you about that. I'm glad that right off the bat. That was awesome.
McDonald's, that's a high point.
It's cool though, because that's what they do with the Stanley Cup, right? In the NHL, when they win the Stanley Cup, they take it everywhere. Have you guys got anything crazy planned for that Whitewall Cup, or?
Not really.
Just because you hear some of the crazy stories about when the Stanley Cup winners win it, right?
Nothing he wants to admit.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, no, I can't tell you that.
Let me tell you, those stories will come out after graduation, and then I'll find out where that trophy was. I just told them not to lose it. There's only one.
Right? Or don't dent it either. I mean, I know they say that it's all charming when the Stanley Cup gets dented and all that, but
no, it's been a blast.
Oh, I can only imagine, because like I said, that, and I'll start right off with that tournament, because that tournament, you guys, I'm going to tell you, you captured the hearts and the minds of Central New York with that run. Take us through that a little bit, because, let's, coming into the tournament, it was a little bit of a rough ride towards the end of the season, but your team just flipped the switch, Coach. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was a mixed bag all year long. I mean, we played some unbelievable hockey against some great teams, and then winding into the tournament, we beat Dartmouth at home in the single elimination game. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves, and then all of a sudden we're down 3-0 at St. Lawrence in the first period, and weren't really playing great. I mean, the game is crazy, right? So we start to play better in the second. We find a way to come back and tie it, win on overtime, and we played our best hockey over the next, 4 games. It's just amazing how it works. So we strung 5 games together. They made all the difference in the world. But I think the biggest thing is that we knew that game was in us. It was in us because we beat Harvard during the regular season. We lost in overtime there. We beat Quinnipiac in the regular season. Could have easily beaten them down there, lost 3-2. So
sure,
that was always in the back of our mind, that we knew we were good enough to beat the best teams in our league. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and we went into Lake Placid with that in our minds, and we had a plan. It worked, and it's just an amazing feeling for me, especially, but also for Ross and those guys. But it's been 30 years I was kind of chasing that. So to see the raw emotion and joy on the guys' faces at the end of the game made every one of those trips to Lake Placid that we didn't win even more special for me.
Oh, I can only imagine. I can only imagine chasing after it for that long. And you mentioned you won against Quinnipiac when they were number 1 in the nation, right?
Yep.
You beat Harvard when they were number 7. You almost beat Harvard again in Harvard. And you also tied Cornell, who were ranked, I think they were 10th or 11th at the time. And I believe you won the shootout in that. So, Coach, this team had just had this knack for rising to the occasion in the big games. Can either of you guys explain just what it was about this team that when the spotlight was on, the Raiders were on?
Yeah, I'll let Ross speak to this, but Scott, it's I wish we could figure it out, because we've been racking our brains on sort of on the other side of it, on those games that we probably should have been better and we weren't. But you're right, we were really good when we were playing some of those best teams. But to me, at the end of the day, it's the intangibles, it's the little things that get you through. And we had a plan and guys bought into that. But this is a team, I think I've only had 3 or 4 like this, that they really they love each other. It's crazy. Like they believe in each other, they support each other. There were so many times this year where, you know, the wheels could have fallen off, but someone in the locker room picked somebody else up. And I mean, that's how you get to where we got this year. But Ross might have a different perspective. I'll let him chime in.
No, I see the same thing. I think like, especially when we're like late in the third period and everyone's tired and like we're down by a goal, we always just say play for the guy next to you. And this is definitely one of the closest teams I've ever been on. So I think keep saying the same thing, like playing for the guy next to you. I think we believed in ourselves. We believed what we can do as a team. And I think that's why we came out on top at the end of the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Ross, I'll tell you, watching you play this year, I'm going to tell you straight up that you are absolutely one of the most underrated penalty killers in the entire Division I. You really are. I mean, it's just unbelievable watching you kill penalties, but you can also put the puck in the net. And my friend, you scored what would be one of, if not the biggest goal in Colgate history when you won the game winner in double overtime against Quinnipiac. And I'm sure you've been asked this, but I got to hear the story myself. Take us through that goal.
I mean, it was double overtime. Everyone's tired. We're all cramping up in the locker room. Like, I couldn't even stand up half the game. Carter's probably seen 50, 60 shots already. And it was just a back and forth game. And we knew we had to defend, but we also knew like we could just pressure offensively. I think we were the more conditioned team in that game, which is why we came out on top. But so like Belpedio dumped the puck in. We had a good forecheck, and DePaulo got the puck on the slot, finally shot the puck, and I was just right there to put it in.
Yeah, and euphoria. Just, I mean, that had to have been just an incredible feeling. And then going on the next night to beat Harvard again. I mean, like I said, we just talked about it, but again, just an incredible job by you guys. And then, you know, with the tournament win, you got to the NCAAs. And, you know, of course, it didn't go the way you wanted. But how was that overall experience of just being in that tournament and being a part of that, the big dance, so to speak?
I mean, it was really cool because growing up, I've always watched those tournaments every year. So it was like a dream come true for me to definitely play in one of those tournaments. It was a really cool experience.
And, Coach, you've been there a few times, but it's got to be special every single time.
Oh, it is. And especially with this group that, you know, there were other years where we were, you know, picked to either be 1 or 2 or 3. Like in 2014, we had a really good team. But this team, you know, we were hovering around 5 and got off to a bit of a slow start. But we knew that there was a lot in the locker room. So, you know, we knew we had the talent. I'm not sure everybody else felt that. And the trip to Lake Placid and winning the championship in front of a lot of our fans was pretty special. It's something I'll never forget. I mean, there's the sheer joy and I don't know what the right word is, but just the raw emotion of the guys on the ice and our fans. And I had family there, and maybe it's because, you know, it's been 30 years for me, but I have nothing but, you know, praise and thanks for this group. I thanked them a couple of times, our guys. But I mean, the guy on the screen here with us, he had 3 overtime goals this year. Like, so if I had to put money on the OT winner against Quinnipiac, it was all going to be on Ross Mitton.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I was just looking at my notes. He also had 3 assists against Harvard in the regular season win. You know, Mr. Clutch, I got to tell you. Ross, you know, you grew up in Long Island. So tell me, were you an Islanders fan growing up?
I was a Rangers fan, and I still am.
There goes the love.
I still go to Islanders games here and there. Like I I ran into my coach at an Islanders game, I think either last year or 2 years ago at one of the playoffs games. It was pretty cool. So
That's I
don't
got to
hate
ask. So,
If I'd have known he was a Ranger fan, I wouldn't even have gone out the door to talk to him.
well, Coach, who's your team?
Well, I was a huge Islander fan growing up just because I loved the way they grinded with, Dennis Potvin and, Smitty and Nets and Bobby Nystrom and all those guys. My wife lived in Long Island, and they practiced right down the street at Quinnipiac Park.
Nice.
Ross, I'm not sure if you know where that is, but so I used to go down there all the time and watch practice. And the trainer for the Islanders back then in the mid 80s was a St. Lawrence guy, a guy named Ron Waskey. So I had access. I was able to go in and watch practices, and it just, but again, I mean, that was before the Ottawa Senators, right? That was home for me. So I've got a soft spot for the Senators, but my go-to team at the end of the day will always be the Islanders.
Nice. And it still just blows my mind that a Long Island kid grows up a Rangers fan, but that's okay. It's all good. So Ross, since you were a Ranger fan, were there any particular favorite players you had early on, or let's say influences that made you want to get into hockey?
I mean, he's not on the Rangers, but I always watched Alex Ovechkin growing up. But I'd say right now, one of my favorite players is Evander Kane.
Nice. Well, I tell you, he would have blended right in on those old Islander teams, Coach.
He probably would have.
Plays like Ross too. Ross has got a bit of an edge to him.
Yeah, you're right. But it was like back then, if you'd have put him on like with Gillies and Nystrom and all that, oh boy, look out. Very cool. So Ross, if you went into the USHL, you played for 3 teams, and then you went to Colgate. What was it about Colgate that made you want to go there?
It was definitely the coaching staff, because I know that they really believed like what type of player I can be, and I think coming into Colgate that I was going to get a great education and also play a lot. So that's definitely why I chose it, and it's a beautiful campus as well.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely beautiful. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I took her down for a game this year, and we should drive by the campus to get to the arena, and she took one look out the window. She's like, "Dad, I think this is where I want to go to school." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I says, "Well," I says, "you better stop bringing home 78s on your social studies test then."
It's pretty funny though, because when I was playing juniors, my roommate Pearson Brandon, we played together in North Jersey Avalanche. He was calling me like every day until I committed. So
nice.
Nothing like a little bit of peer pressure in the recruiting process.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So guys, you really, this season's team was actually kind of a young team. You only have 6 seniors from this season. Coach, do they have 5th year COVID eligibility? We do.
For us, we're not going to be in the 5th year market for a player from outside of Colgate. Only because we have one master's program, and it would be hard for us to sort of match that up.
Gotcha.
We do have the ability to keep one of our seniors for a 5th year or 2 if they're actually going to double major or add a minor, or they need credits to graduate. But we're not going to be in the 5th year market, and we're not going to be in the transfer market that much. It's just academically at Colgate, it's very challenging, and a lot of schools are going to the transfer portal, but I don't see that being us. Our mission is going to be, and our recruiting model will be, to continue to bring in guys like Ross Mitton, who will go through the program with his classmates for 4 years and graduate, and it's all about development. We're not going to bring in 4 or 5 transfers in the middle of Ross Mitton's junior year and say, "Oh, I guess what?
Right.
We think we got 3 or 4 guys better than you." It's not going to be us. We're gonna stick with the model we have, which is, we're going to recruit you. You're going to be here with us for 4 years. We're going to develop you, and we're going to win championships, just like we did this year with the senior class. That when they came here, we asked them to help change our culture, to help change the process. And this is nothing against the other guys. We just needed to make a shift. And they did that. And, guys like Arnaud Vachon and Colton Young and, all those guys are going out as champions because they believed in what we were building, and they did it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what though, too, Barry just asked how many returning players you have. I just looked at the roster quick. I think it's like 17 or something like that. I have to, I was kind of trying to speed count. So let's give or take a couple for me. But no, coach, that's actually very admirable because, and that's actually going to help recruiting, because if a player believes that you got a coaching staff there and you got a team that believes in you, and that's going to go a long way, not to mention having a gorgeous arena like the class of 1965 arena.
100%. And that's the message. And, we believe in the guys. We've never decommitted a kid. We've had a few decommit on us, but we've always honored our commitments. And we think that's pretty special as well. And yeah, I was talking today to a good alum, and we feel, and Ross can maybe speak to this, but the class of 65 arena has been a huge asset for us. And I'm not sure we'd be sitting here talking about, a championship run without having that rink. I love Star Rink. I coached in that rink for a long time, but to attract the caliber of student athletes and players like Ross Mitton and the Youngs and Pearson Brandon and Carter Guylander, I don't know if they'd want to be playing in the old Star Rink. So
right.
That's a shout out to our alumni, to our administration, to the people that made it happen, because it's 2023 and kids make decisions for a lot of different reasons, but I guarantee you one of those big reasons is the facility that you're playing in. And we're so happy to have that rink as ours.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And coach, you had a hand in getting that built as well.
I'd like to think so. It was a bit of a labor of love for me. I think we started talking about it in 2002, maybe. And was in on a lot of meetings where it was like, no, I don't think it's going to happen. And then the economy went south, but we stuck with it, and we got it done. We, with the help of our very generous alums, and we had to raise, $25 million of the total cost, and our people stepped up. But to me, that's what Colgate is all about. They want to win. We believe in winning, and we believe in doing things the right way. And we were able to successfully build a rink that a lot of people thought we would never get done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Barry says, great to see you look out for the players and their education. It's not just about the game. That's exactly it. So Ross, we're talking about seniors now. You're heading into that senior year. Now you're in that leadership group. So tell me, what's an off-season preparation like for you to get ready for the next season?
Well, I go home and I train and work out with my trainer, John DeFlorio at Institute 3 back at home. And all of my Long Island college buddies who also play hockey at other D1 institutions, we all skate and train together. But for our team next year, I'm probably going to start reaching out to the incoming freshmen starting maybe next week in 2 weeks, just to make sure they feel welcome and comfortable, and they're not like too scared coming into school. So
that's awesome. That's exactly what the leadership's all about. Any advice for younger players wanting to get into hockey and to get to the levels that you're at?
I'd say don't worry about what everyone else is doing or achieving. I think there's a different path for everyone. Focusing on your development is very crucial. So working on skating, your hands, and the mental side of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's really what it's all about. And, just from my personal perspective, because I have a ball hockey organization here up in the Valley, and, that's, could be a good spot or start for kids too, just to get the sticks in their hands and get the game played. When it's 90 degrees out and ice is kind of scarce to be found when it's that hot out, but, Coach, we know you've been coaching for 30 years. We're talking about off-season preparations. How has recruiting changed over your tenure?
That's probably for another entire show, but it's so different now than it was, 20 years ago, or even less than that. Everybody has a family advisor. There's not a lot of loyalty in terms of, to your word. You can commit a kid and they decide at the last minute to go the other way. And that's why we filled our teams with kids that didn't do that. Like, if you want to be here, we want you to be a part of it. But if you're thinking about, jumping into the portal or decommitting on your NLI, then go. That's not what we're building here, but it's very different. Like when I started, 100 years ago, we would actually start recruiting the next year's class in September of the year before. Now we're committing kids 2, 3 years, in some cases 4 years out for some schools.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a different world altogether. I like how we do it. I like our model, and until someone tells me that you can't win championships doing it the way we do, then so be it. But we're doing it the way we do, and we won a championship. So
absolutely, you proved it. You proved it right flat out. There's no doubt about it. Jordan, you got anything for Coach or Ross?
Actually, I do. Is there any place, Coach, that you like to recruit from, or is common for you to kind of recruit in the area?
It's a good question, and it changes. I mean, I have 2 great assistant coaches, and Dana Borges and Chris Azano, and they go everywhere. There's no secrets anymore. I mean, it used to be maybe you're in a league that doesn't get a lot of exposure, but teams are so good at recruiting and finding players. And you have a tendency to go back to where you've had some name recognition. So back in the mid-90s to late 90s, we had great name recognition in Southern Ontario. It's where we got Andy McDonald, Stanley Cup winner, Daryl Campbell, Mike Marastica. We were all over that league. And when we walked into a rink, everybody knew Colgate was there because we got good players. And then it shifts. The leagues get stronger. Like the BCHL is pretty good. Obviously, the USHL where Ross played is amazing. We've had a really good niche in the last probably 5 years in Alberta, and I give Dana Borges a lot of credit. He's developed some really good relationships, and that's what it's like anything. It always comes back to relationships. You need people to trust you, and you need you to trust them. And we've developed some really good relationships in Alberta with some really good coaches and some general managers. And we've got the Young brothers. We've got Carter Guylander. We've got Josh McKechnie, who graduated last year. I mean, we've had some really good players out of those leagues, and we've got some others coming. But we've just branched into Minnesota. I mean, we've got 3 or 4 guys on the team right now from Minnesota, and our name's starting to precede us in there. So, where you go where you've had some success. It's a little bit cyclical, but right now those are 3 pretty hotbeds for us. And the USHL is a little bit harder for us, only because it's the kids that tend to have committed to the USHL. A lot of them are already committed before they go there. I'm not sure your case, Ross. When you went, but it's an unbelievable league. It's just we just don't have a niche there yet.
Yeah, it's absolutely astounding just how much the United States junior leagues have developed over the past 10 years even. Because years ago it was the Canadian junior leagues are bust, and now between the USHL, you got the USPHL, there's leagues down south. It's just exploding all over the place, and even overseas too. You got a lot of overseas programs that have come such a long way over the past few years. You guys got Matt Verboon. He's from Switzerland, so big wide world now, and that's talent all over the place. So guys, I just appreciate the heck out of you taking all the time to talk to us here. I got to ask you something though, because I know you guys have got some characters on that team. I know. So Ross, I got to ask you, which one of your teammates would make the best professional wrestler?
Professional wrestler. Maybe either Pearson Brandon or Ben Raymond, I would say.
All right.
Because they're both really strong. Maybe even Arnaud Vachon too, but
I love the responses I get from that. They're like, oh man, now you're starting to think about entrance music. Are they going to have pyro? What are they? Because coach, that's going to be next. They're going to want pyro when they're skating out on the ice.
Oh yeah, 100%. Whatever it takes.
That's right. Exactly.
I want pyro.
Well, yeah, but
I'm an old time wrestling fan. Like I go back to Jimmy the Fly Snuka.
There you go. King Kong Bundy.
Don't get Scott.
King Kong, John Ferry the Giant.
Yes. Yes.
I go back to in Canada, Maple Leaf Wrestling.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the best one was, I already mentioned, Jill the Fish Poisson. So his real name was Jill the fish. If my French is right.
There you go. Right. I always loved when they showed the old school wrestling from Maple Leaf Gardens and they had that
Yeah,
ramp that
yeah.
went up to the ring. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
I miss
Jimmy
those
the Fly
days.
Snuka off the top buckle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we had, Gary Heenan, the coach of the Pioneers.
I do know Gary well.
He was on last year, and he was saying that he's actually related to Bobby the Brain Heenan. So I was like, wow. I says that's incredible.
I checked the background on that one.
Yeah, right.
If I were you. I'll tell Gary that myself.
Well, I told him, I says, you got the gift of gab just like he does. So
No shit.
No shit. No beep there.
Don't worry, we're on the internet. It's okay.
I tried to say shoot there, but
don't worry about it. We're amongst friends. It's all good.
Oh, jeez.
Gary, God bless him. He's done a great job.
Awesome. Yes, he has.
No doubt.
He's a great guy. Speaking of great guys, you guys, fantastic. And like I said, I just appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to us. Loved going down and watching you guys down at the Class of 65 arena this season and before, of course. And you know what? I think you guys are going to have an extremely strong team next year. I think you're going to springboard off the ECAC championship. Like I said, it's going to help recruiting. And like I said, I'm looking very, very forward to seeing you guys next year.
Awesome.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Get more excited. Come on.
Well, I'm just going to say thanks for having us. Like I said earlier, maybe off air, but what you guys do for hockey and in this 315 area code, keep hammering it, man. Just keep doing it because there's some great hockey around here.
There certainly is.
I watch you guys. I know the pro games when they're on, but you guys go deep down the list. And we had some good high school hockey in 315 this year.
We certainly did. Absolutely.
So keep pumping it, boys.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate it. And like I said, Ross, thank you for coming on. And we will definitely be seeing you guys soon enough because you know what? Fall's coming. Just keep telling ourselves that fall's coming. I'm sure you guys want a little bit of a break. I'm not trying to rush it on you, but like I said, I, for one, can't wait. So
awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you.
You too.
Have a good one.
All right. Take care, guys. All right. That was Ross Mitton and Coach Vaughan, the Colgate Raiders. That was awesome. Those guys are just so much fun.
Yeah.
Jordy, we got more to talk about, but I think we need to take a commercial break here really quick so I can get a little splash of water here, and we will continue on with segment 2 when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
I haven't told you this in a while, Dave, but I just love that song.
I
can't help it.
You win a couple of shows without saying anything.
I know. I just, as I was sitting here listening, I'm like, wow, I go, I got to tell him again.
Yeah.
Don't ever change that.
I'll find something else.
I'm sure you will. And you won't even tell me. I'll just be
I won't.
surprised when
You
I
will.
Mhm. All right. Well, you know what, guys? The college season here in the 315 has pretty much wound down, but that does not mean that the news stops. And our buddy Jordan here has got some news.
Go, Jordan.
So,
Go, Jordan.
8 Pioneers have made it to professional hockey. Now,
Nice.
the number is 4 in the ECHL, 4 in the SPHL. And the signings were Justin Allen and Regan Kavanaugh to the ECHL Norfolk Admirals. They were both on amateur tryouts. I don't know if they're still on them. They've played a couple games over there. So, you could see them get full contracts. I don't know for sure if they have them yet, but they're over there.
They'll probably play out the season and then
probably, yeah. And then you had Mick Kern and Lucas Herman go to the SPHL Pensacola Ice Flyers, where Lucas Herman got his first professional goal.
Nice. That's right. It was awesome.
Brandon Osmondson went down to Knoxville Ice Bears in the SPHL. Then you had Dante Zapata, the former captain, go to the Tulsa Oilers in the ECHL. John Monkovich went home to the SPHL and is with Fayetteville. And then Connor Fedort went to the ECHL Kalamazoo Wings.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome that, one team produced 8 professionals out of one season. That's just incredible. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't get talked about enough, but like the ECHL is a really fun league. And I'll tell you what's awesome, and Dave can attest to. We've talked about the SPHL on Marty's. What was it, about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I'll tell you, man, that SPHL is just an awesome league. It's so much fun. It really is. And matter of fact, I got an article coming, I think it's tomorrow, on 315hockey.com, basically updating everything, because I put one out a couple of years ago. It's an updated version about the SPHL. And it's just an amazing league. And, with the 315, it's not just Pioneers that have Alex DiCarlo from Oswego. Is playing for Roanoke, the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. Our friend Roy Chambers.
Yeah, Railroad.
I got to have him back on to talk about the SPHL. Got to.
He's actually them against the Barnyard Rats.
I don't know.
Get them both.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe the Barnyard Rats could be the expansion team in the SPHL.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I tell you what, if I say that enough, there's going to be a team called that. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah. What is it? That wish it, want it, do it? Is that what it is?
Exactly. Keep saying that about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
That too. Well, hey, But anyways, that notwithstanding, no, but like I said, that's fantastic on all those guys, really. And the SPHL, you mentioned the Pensacola Ice Flyers. That's where Utica Comets Vice President Adam Pollock played as well. So, yeah, if you ever get a chance, I think it's thesphl.com. Really cool logos, really cool league, and same thing with the E. They got the Adirondack Thunder up there, the Comets affiliate. So, absolutely. And you know what? Speaking of the Comets, Dave the Save over here did some intrepid reporting today that we want to hear about.
I did, yeah. No, today the Comets were up at Little Falls High School, and they had a jersey contest where they had the students all around the area submit ideas for a special jersey, right? So they got hundreds of applicants for this thing, and they narrowed it down to about 10 people. And then out of that, the front office kind of looked at them all and said, hey, here's the ones we like. And they had their graphic designer kind of mock them up. And they picked Mia Stutz from Little Falls High School. Cool. So what happened was she had no idea she'd won. So the Comets folks came up here and they brought Jared Gorley with them.
Okay.
And he was standing in the room and he had one of the new shirts on that they're going to wear Sunday's game at 3:00.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're going to wear it for the whole game? Or
the whole game.
Really?
No, the whole game. They're wearing those jerseys.
Awesome.
And so he was standing there, and what they'd also done was they had made up a jersey with her name on it with that new style.
Oh, no kidding.
So, so Mia had no clue.
Okay.
This was going on.
Total surprise.
The principal, Leanne Dooley, dragged her in there, and then she's walking in the
door.
Like,
oh my God, am I in trouble?
She was like, yeah, really. And this was the greeting here.
Awesome.
Jared had the shirt on, and she was just, you could see her hand up there grabbing, like, oh my God.
Oh wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, she was really excited about it. And then of course I said they made up one for her.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And so she's got that, and the ones they're wearing on Sunday, they're going to go ahead and give away to kids in the area.
Really? Go back to the first picture there.
First one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because I like, it's so cool because obviously the Comets theme, you got the Earth there, you got all the stars, the different planets.
Well, she said that's what kind of got her into the idea of the theme was the fact that it said comets, and so she took that, a space theme,
right,
the Earth and everything else like that, and designed that shirt. So she was totally surprised, and she kept saying, you guys are really, 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 really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll have to get one of those someday up for Barry Shelley's Rink of Dreams.
Oh, I tell you. Yeah, that would be, and that's what Barry's thinking already.
There it is. I knew
it. You can't. So, yeah, no.
But Barry, only if you model it. That's a
Yeah, no, it was a heck of a good, I think, contest that they had, and
Yeah.
really connecting with the youth. And
absolutely.
they did say that they were going to wash the jerseys before they handed them out to the.
Well, yeah, I guess that's you can look at it one of two ways. I mean, yeah, that's nice, but you know what? If you hand it right off the game, it's really authentic then.
And they also have Mia's
No
family.
need for a certificate of authenticity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's game worn.
Yeah. But they've got her whole family coming there. Mia's family's going to be there at the game, and they're all going to sign her jersey.
Really?
Yeah. So it's really going to be a special event, and I think that was a great way to connect with the community.
That's fantastic. I love it when teams do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do. And you know who else is going to be at that game?
No.
Me.
Well, then you need to do something about this. Maybe, get a picture of her with the signed jersey.
I'm going to have to, I mean, well, hey, listen, you were the intrepid reporter. Maybe you can come up Sunday.
I got nothing going Sunday. I was thinking about that.
You know what? Then you say the word and we'll get you some tickets. How's that sound?
I know. I want to shoot the game. I don't want to be a spectator. I'm just not a spectator.
Well,
I want to take pictures.
Well,
yeah.
You took that iPhone class, right?
No, I'm not doing iPhone stuff, buddy.
Good luck.
I bring the big dog.
well, bark. Okay. That's awesome. But you're going to have an article about that on My Little Falls. Right?
Yeah, I will. I'm going to run that at 5 a.m. and we'll get that thing up on 315 Hockey as well.
Yeah, as soon as I get the picture working.
As soon as you get the website working right.
Listen, if it could have been on a Commodore 64, I would have had it down pat.
You would have.
That's all I got to say.
I sent it plenty of time.
I know. That's what we need is plenty of time. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Speaking of the Comets, I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but this North Division has suddenly become extremely tight. For a while there, it kind of looked like the Comets were going to cruise into a playoff spot. Same thing with the Crunch. And now all of a sudden, not so much so. So in looking at the standings, so the top 5 teams in the North Division make the playoffs. And how it works is the top 3 teams get a first round bye. And then the 4th and 5th seed play a best of 3 series for the right to advance to play the first seed, which is going to be the Toronto Marlies. I mean, they're going to win this division. But the rest of the division, there's 7 teams overall. So get this. The Comets are in 2nd with 71 points. The Crunch are in 3rd with 70. The Rochester Americans, who we just talked about last week, are in 4th with 70. The Cleveland Monsters are back basically from the dead. They got 65 points. They're in 5th. The Laval Rocket are hanging around in 6th with 64 points. And the Belleville Senators are in last place, but they're 3 points out of a playoff spot with 62 points.
Wow.
Every single game counts at this point, guys. There is really no room for error. And I'm looking at the Comets schedule the rest of the way. They got 8 games left. It's all against North Division teams. All. And it's mostly Syracuse and Rochester. There's a game against Cleveland thrown in there. And there's a game against Toronto, of course, thrown in there. The Crunch, I think they've only got 1 out-of-division game left, and that's going to be this Saturday when they're going to be going to Wilkes-Barre Strand. So just check to get a score update. Only 1 game tonight, and it's out west. Yeah, that's you get down to this time of the year, it kind of a little slim pickings, especially on Thursday nights in the AHL. But yeah, Jordan, this is going to be an awesome finish.
Yeah, it is, and it's always tight in the North, especially with how some of the teams up in the NHL are playing. It's always tight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Comets did get some good news to get Kira Schmid back.
Yeah, that's big.
Well, until Mackenzie Blackwood gets injured again, and then he'll be back up there. But but I'm actually kind of surprised because I see Isaac Poulter is still with the team. So they're going to be going with 3 goalies, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong. Isaac Poulter has played fantastic in his time in Utica. I'm just surprised having the 3 goalies that they're maintaining with, between Nico Dawes, Akira Schmid, and Isaac Poulter. And talking with Armand Glisevich there, who was on a few weeks ago, he's in a little dire straits up there in Adirondack because I guess they're having some goalie injury problems. And he's been messaging me. He's like, "When are you sending Poulter back?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not the GM." Like, what do you want from me? But looking at the weekend schedule, so both the Crunch and the Comets are playing 3-3 again. It's getting to that weird part of the schedule where it's only 8 points to clinch a playoff. Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. You got the magic numbers are there, and the Comets are in a good spot. And sort of the Crunch really. It's just like I said, there's no room for error. You can't, say, we had a bad weekend. We lost 3 games. Guess what? You lose 3 games in a row now.
You're done.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt. And like I said, both the Comets and the Crunch are playing that dreaded 3-3, which doesn't happen often, but it happened last weekend for both teams, right? Because usually how the AHL schedule is split up is usually like a Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday kind of thing. But for whatever reason, this is how the schedule has worked out. So the Crunch are at home Friday night against Belleville. We already mentioned this Saturday. They're going down to Wilkes-Barre, Scranton to play the Tuxedo Chickens, as my wife loves to call it. I just love it.
It's a good name.
I love it. The Tuxedo Chickens. I'm like, I've just trained her so well to become a hockey fan. It's great. And then on Sunday, we just mentioned it. They're going to be home, or no, it's going to be in Utica. They're playing the Comets. And now, speaking of the Comets, they're home Friday night versus Rochester. They're on the road Saturday night at Rochester, and then Sunday they host the Crunch. So you are talking about just 3 crucial games. We're talking both teams.
Yeah, and I can already hear Jeremy now because he loves this stretch of the season playing only Syracuse and Rochester. But it's going to be, those games are going to get physical, and Utica should hopefully be able to hang in there. They usually have.
But Jordy, you did notice that the coach said it was the little things in the last
Yeah,
Yeah, I picked up on that too. I was thinking of something like, I wish Jeremy was here.
Oh, can't let it slide.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
Nope.
But no, that's like I said. I mean, this is, and you know what though? Yeah, complain if you want. They're playing Syracuse and Rochester again. But you know what? This is just going to make for some intense hockey. Yeah. Absolutely intense. So if you can get to any of these games that are going to be played this weekend, either at the Adirondack Bank Center or at the Upstate Medical University Arena up there in Syracuse, I would suggest going because there's one score update.
Barry's giving us score updates.
Barry, you know what? We should play him like live via satellite.
Yeah, jeez.
What did he say? The Devils are up 2-0 on the Rangers?
Yeah.
Oh, is there a camera that we can put on Jeremy right now?
I guarantee I can tell you his reaction.
But it's funny that he mentioned the Devils and the Rangers because, as you know, we've restarted Marty's Illegal Stick, and we just talked about that yesterday. One of the segments was, because it looks like, obviously the Rangers and the Devils are both going to the playoffs. So if you are the Rangers or the Devils, would you rather play each other in the first round, or would you rather take on the New York Islanders, who are the first wild card right now? Because one of them could still win the division. So if you want to check that out, that episode is available, by the way, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
I like it when we used to pick the winners and stuff. That was fun.
Well, you know what? I mean, you might have to make a return appearance on Marty sometime.
I might. Yeah, I could do that.
I know we run too long for you, but that's.
Yeah, if I come in as a guest, I can leave when I want.
Well, that much is true. That much is true.
That's it.
But yeah, like I said, just be sure to check that show out. Check out 315hockey.com. We got some great hockey articles coming up in My Little Falls.
Yep.
We're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Even get your couple of pages in the Mohawk Valley Express.
Yes. When is that coming out, by the way, Dave? Tell our
your
audience.
deadline is this weekend.
Well, I know that, but when's the paper itself coming out?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Not
there
tomorrow.
You go.
Next Friday.
Newsstands all over the Mohawk Valley.
Yep.
How do you like that?
Yep.
Jordan, any closing thoughts?
Not much other than go Rangers.
You poured a little soul tonight.
Yep.
Barry wanted me to say go Sabres, so I gotta make him happy.
You know what though? I mean, hey, good on the Sabres. I don't know if they're gonna make it now, but good on them for coming back at the end of the season that though.
Yeah, they put up a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, gentlemen. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's close this out so we can go watch that Devils Rangers game. Again, I want to thank Coach Vaughan and Ross Mitton from the Colgate Raiders men's hockey team for coming on tonight. Again, like I said, check out 315hockey.com, My Little Falls. Check us all out over social media. You will not be disappointed. So, Jordan, thank you once again for coming on. Dave, thank you for all you do. You're the best, buddy, no matter what. I'll tell you that. And anyways, thank you, the listener, for watching and listening to our show. And we will see you next week on 315 Hockey Live.